Hello everyone, welcome to Tech with Easy. Today we are going to discuss about the topic of what is prompt engineering, the art and the science of talking to AI so it actually understands you. A clear, in-depth walking through of what it is and why it is matter and how to do it well. Okay, so let's start and discuss about the prompt engineering, why we are having this. So let's start with the prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the practice or designing the defined input or prompt. You give a large language model so that it produces the most accurate, relevant, and the useful output without changing the model itself. Think of it like this, that the LLM is then a brilliant and extremely literal assistant. It has a read almost everything, but it cannot read your mind. The prompt is the instruction sheet. You hand it, and the vague instruction sheet give you the vague result. The precise one gives you the precise result. So the basic is that whatever the input you are giving, you getting the output the same. Like if you are giving a weak prompt, so you are going to be have a weak output. But if you are giving a right output, right input, then you take have a good output according to your requirement. So if just the example, you are right about dogs, you want, you put in some prompt, and the engineer prompt write at 100 words unbeat product descriptions for a dog walking app aimed at any busy urban pet owners and all. Whatever the prompt you have given, you get the output like the same. Why we use a prompt engineering? The model doesn't change, your control over it does. Cheaper than retaining, same model, better results, steer the behavior precisely, reduce the errors and hallucinations. So these are the profit or features we are getting to using a prompt engineering. Because see, whenever we are going with the fine tune and building a new model cost time, data and compute, a better prompt cost nothing and work instantly. So that's why prompt engineering gives us a cheaper than the retraining. Okay, and the same model and the better result is that the exact same LLM can go for the mediocres to the excellent output purely based on the how the result is framed. Okay, so similarly, streams behavior precisely of a control tone, format, length, role, reasoning style without touching any code or model weights. You can get that. So reduce the errors and hallucination is a clear context and the constraints that makes the models far less likely to guess and make things up. So these are the reason we are using a prompt engineering. A quick mental model of how an LLM thinks. Just think like that, how LLM thinks. Oh, how LLM works. So LLM doesn't know the facts the way database does, or what was the output, what was the input. LLM doesn't know things, doesn't know anything. So it predicts the most likely next word over and over based on the pattern learned from the huge amount of text and whatever the text you just gave it. Like just take example, your prompt is becoming the model entire working concept. Like it's only a memory of the task and the pattern match. The model searches a learned pattern for what usually follows these kinds of text. Then the next word prediction is that it generates a response on a one token at a time and guided heavily by your wording. And then your it gives your output. Vague input is a generic pattern wins. Specific input will the specific output. The useful pattern wins. So this is the way of LLM works. This is a mental model of how LLM thinks. Okay. So anatomy of a well-engineered prompt is the role persona, task, constraints, context, format, and all. Like you can see you are a senior back engineer. So set the expertise and tone. Context is background info the model needs but doesn't already have. Task is the specific, unambitious action you want to perform. Which format is like the how the output should look: bullet list, table, JSON, PPT, word count, anything like constraints, what are avoid and boundaries, tone, audience, length limits. You can the example, same input and output pairs, so the model mirrors the pattern. Okay, so these are the structure of the well engineered prompts we are using. So the technique is using a prompt engineering is the zero shots. Just ask directly. No example given works for the simple and well-known task. Like summarize this mail in 2 lines. You are describing that. So few shots it just gives you a 2 to 3 examples of the input output before the real task. So the model copies the pattern and shows the three sample Q and A pairs that ask for the fourth questions and the chain of thoughts, the ask model to reason step by step and before answering, improving accuracy on the logic and maths, this things step by step and then give the final answer. This is the chain of thoughts which are using in a prompt engineering. Okay, so the advantage techniques we are having react, reason plus act. So model alternates between the reasoning and taking the tool's action, the backbone of the most agentic AI system we have. So self consistency, we having this advantage that self consistency is generate a multiple reasoning path and then pick the most common answer for the high reliability. Okay, prompt chaining is like break a complex task into the smaller prompts and feeding a one output into the next step. So that's why this is a prompt engineering and they give you a better output because they divided their task into smaller parts. Systems and the guardrails prompts are the a persistence instruction layer that sets the rules, safety limits, and the behavior for your every user turns. Okay, so these are the some techniques we are using. Prompt engineering versus fine tuning. Fine tuning is what? Let's see. Prompt engineering, cost free, like near zero. We can't say like totally free, near zero. And fine tuning is a requires a compute, data, GPUs and all. Speed is instant, edit and rerun. With prompts engineering, whatever the input we are writing, that is the prompt engineering. And the instant or edit we can run. But hours to days to retrain, this is a fine tuning. Skills needed a clear writing and structuring. Fine tuning is a ML engineering or the data prep we can have best for the most day-to-day task. Prompt engineering is, but the fine tuning is a deep domain specialist which who are working with the LLMs and defining the creating the agentic AI or not. The flexibility of the change anytime per request, but the fixed until retained again. So in fine tuning, it's fixed and we can retrain again. So where prompt engineering shows up? Encoding assistant like precise prompts turn the vacuous request into the correct and the working functions and text and all. Customer support bots like system bots keeps a tone consistent and top the bot from the going off scripts. Data extractions instructions exact output schemas like a JSON lets the LLM output plug directly into your application. Agenting are tools using AI like agents with built with the LangChain MCP rely on a well-engineered output to decide which tools to call and when. Content and marketing is the tone, audience, and the length instruction shapes that brand are consistent and writing a scale. Summarizing and analyzing is the framing for a 5 years old or for a legal team and controls a depth and vocabulary. So here these are the platform where we are using a prompt engineering and where we are showing up the prompt engineering. So this is the do's and don'ts what we have to do or what we have to avoid. So be specific about the task format and length. Okay, give example of the complex and unusual formats, assign a role which expertise tone matters, ask the model to reason before answering, iterate or treat a prompt as the first draft. What you don't have to do or what you have to avoid as a prompt engineer, Don't assume the model just knows your context. Don't bury the real instructions in your extra text. Don't mix the multiple unrelated tasks in a one prompt. Don't skip the constraints, length, tone, audience, and all. Okay, don't accept the first output without testing the edge cases. Similarly, the model intelligence is fixed. Your prompt decides how much of it you actually get. So, prompt engineering is the cheapest and fastest lever you have to make any LLM and any agentic system build on the top of it and noticeably like a smarter, safer, and most useful things which we have. So, you can become a best prompt engineer or you are okay. So, thank you. This is the prompt engineering which we are talking about. And the way of writing the input and the output, this is a prompt engineering, and we have to know about that in more depth. That's it. Thank you.